breeze blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page light is about to appear. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, you want to know it first, and you want to know it right, and you want to have time to plan. Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm, or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that it's trying to hide. Look on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation. Yeah, you're in Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation.
All right, everybody, good morning. What's going on? Here is the camera. Look at that. 20 seconds to spare. Good morning. Don wants a rookie stripe.
I walk up there, you want to go back out? I don't do that.
Oh, there's a little bit of our Ian footage there at the end. How's everybody doing today? Thursday. It's my Friday. We're not going to be live tomorrow. I apologize. I got to be out of town. That's the way it rolls. But I'll be doing a video in the morning to update everybody, as always, as I just posted one now. So tomorrow I'll probably have a couple videos. And then we'll probably do one maybe Sunday if it works out. But Monday, Tuesday next week for sure. We got a lot brewing in the tropics. Unfortunately, I mentioned I was going camping, and this always happens. If you remember 2020, I must have canceled 5 family vacations that year because every time we planned a trip, something happened that I had to stay home to do coverage. And it looks like we might be doing that again. So I hope not. But it does look like we got something to talk about with Invest 95. So if you think Hunter's naked, he is. His collar came off, so I'm going to have to fix it for him. So he walks around so helpless without his little collar on. But this is little Hunter. Good morning, everybody. We are coming to you live from Oldsmar, Florida. It is June 27th. This is the Daily Brew. We talk about the tropics. I am not a meteorologist. Crystal, yeah, we'll hook you up with the code. Reach out. You can message me. I'll give it to you. Or Shelly. I'm not a meteorologist, so if you're looking for official information, National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center, don't have to come on here and tell me anything other than I'm wrong a lot. I don't know. I always say the disclaimer, though. We give a lot of credit to National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service, especially during times like these. If what I post is confusing to you and it's overwhelming, then that is where you need to turn the page. Listen to Bob Seger and stay on a National Weather Service. Sometimes I get overwhelming with models and stuff, and I don't mean to do that. But been doing the same thing now for 20 years, so I can't change now. We like to look long range and look at possibilities, and feel I've been pretty consistent over the years doing that. So a lot of folks are new and like to tell me what they think, and that's great. That's America. Hunters, wake up. All right. So our Daily Brew, we got a lot of great supporters of our page. One being, of course, our original ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Our Daily Brew is now brought to you by them for 5 years straight. We do have a new beer coming out from Tampa Bay Brew Company. We're working on the details now. It'll be available at ABC. So watch for that soon, the big announcement. We're excited about that. And definitely collabing with them. I'm pretty excited. So big thanks to ABC for all that you do. Here's the latest. We're going to say hello for a few minutes, so have patience. This is our newest, latest National Hurricane Center map. Shelly gave me some key points today, questions that people have asked, so we're going to hit those in a little bit. Shelly, good points. But that's the latest. Red, code red. Not yellow, not orange, but red. That's the far Atlantic spot. That's Invest 95. The yellow spot, we can't forget about that one now. That's called Invest 94. Remember, invests are just areas of investigation. They have a center that's kind of detectable. Invest 94, maybe. But anyway, it means we have spaghetti models. So an area in invest is just an area that they're investigating. Numbers mean nothing. It starts out at 90, goes to 99, then it starts over again. So it doesn't mean anything. 94 is no different than 95. It's just 95 came after 94. So there you go. So that's what we got. Hunter, what do you think, buddy? We're going to talk about it. No reason to be stressed unless you live in the Caribbean. Now, one of the points Shelly made is, and I need to make this a lot, we have people that watch from all over the world, okay? I guess the number one comment that irks me the most is because if it's not coming to Florida, let's say, people get mad. Why am I talking about it? Well, first off, there's other people that watch the page other than Florida, and I have to talk about it. We have folks in the Virgin Islands. We have folks in Barbados that say hello all the time. We got folks in Jamaica. We got folks in Puerto Rico. We got folks in Belize. So come on, that's a little selfish in my opinion. So just remember that. We're talking about people other than just where you might live, and that's why I talk about it. Some people say I do it for clicks. I mean, come on. There's people that trust our page. Turks and Caicos use our page, and the official government uses our page down there. I've seen many of pictures down there where the agency actually had our page up. So it is a service to a lot of folks. So that is why we talk about things. So, and in the short term, we're going to focus on this weekend, potential impacts to the islands. And then after that, where does it go? That's a big question. Lots of models are out there right now. Not in Iowa there, Sonny. How you doing, buddy? Iowa's scarier than hurricanes, in my opinion. Man, you guys got derechos. You got hail, you get tornadoes, and you don't have days to prepare for that stuff. It's coming like right now. Javi, let's hype it up. That's an inside joke, I'm sure. What's up, Cody from Galveston? What's up, Rare Richard Reamer? What's up, Michelle from Cozumel? Are you on a cruise? Oh, Bill Lauderdale, what's up, buddy? Jessica, been watching for years. You're awesome. Appreciate that. Texas Jessica, what's up? Not coming your way, it looks like. Maybe some rains for lower south, maybe. Belize, you got... This will be out of there by then, Matt. So you'll be good for that trip. What's up, Jake Strong? What's up, Heather Grimes? California. Camp in Margaritaville. That's where I'm going, Allison. Do you know that? Did you know that we are going to... that we'll be there the same weekend. So come say hi. We will be, unless this thing becomes something to worry about, then I'll definitely stay home because I can't have fun when there's tropics. As much as I love to have fun, and you know I love to have fun, and you know I love to party it up, this is my priority, and I would rather go sit in front of a computer tracking storms than anything else. The comment last night, I deleted my Christmas post last night because it made it sound like I was excited about. Well, I'm excited about doing what I'm doing, not excited for a storm. There's a couple people on there that got confused, and I didn't mean to sound like I was excited for hurricanes. I'm excited about doing what I do, tracking storms, not what they cause. So anyway, all right, let's take a look at what's going on here. All right, here's the latest on Weather Nerds. This is the big picture. Let's try to zoom it in super duper. Here is the current map. All right. We'll leave it up here for a second. We say some hellos again. I know, derecho. I called it Derecho, Joe. And somebody corrected me and said it was derecho. I always said Derecho. But if you know that I mess up names, so. Jamaica, stress time, Ian, 100%, buddy. We got a lot of folks in Jamaica. We're going to be watching this. We don't do well with the grammar police here at Mike's Twitter page, so. What's up there, Jarrett Garrett? Fort Myers, love you too there, Miss Nancy. Cool. All right, let's rock and roll here. Lots of stuff. So I guess the biggest surprise, hey, we're doing our cruise this year, Melina. Heck yeah, or Melinda. Yes. I got details on the page. We're doing it in the first part of June on the brand new Utopia. There's not a lot of cabins left. We're already 3/4 full, so you need to call Kim and get it going. All right, so we're going to talk all topics here, and then we're going to say hello some more. But this is current satellite. So a couple things that's interesting right now. One, three things really. So 4 things. 4 things. One is this front. We're going to have a front this weekend. This could allow 95 here, and this is 94. So a lot of unknowns once this thing passes the islands. It's going to be nearing the islands Monday, right here. But if this front stays strong, there's a chance it could help lift it north. And remember, stronger systems tend to go north, Coriolis effect. So depending on how strong the high pressure builds back in is going to be the big question mark. And if this goes west or starts to tug to the north. So there is a timing mechanism in place with this steering that could allow this thing to curve a little more than what some of the models show. The bubbling of 94 currently is amazing. This thing does not have a true center. It looks like to me, it's hard to find. It's very sloppy. But that convection is incredible. Incredible convection going on right now currently. Man, that is just bubbling away. Doesn't have any center to it. If it did, oh boy, it might be organizing, but it doesn't. But it could be a preview, in my opinion, my unprofessional opinion. Once 95 gets to this point, it'll be clearing out of that dust that we talk a lot about, and it'll be entering the same environment in just about 4 or 5 days. And if it's got spin, which it does now, there is that chance this thing could intensify, and there's models showing that ensembles. So 94 could be previewing maybe what we're going to see with 95 as far as the ability to try to get going in this general area. And it's a low rider. This thing's riding low. The dust is here and dry air. This thing's kind of doing it. Now, this wave did the same thing. It kind of stayed underneath all this dry, dusty air. Now, this little guy has been showing up on the GFS, but pretty close. Sometimes these systems get absorbed into the other system and just help the moisture field. So those are things that are interesting. That's what it looks like right now. Looking at the windy map, this is what we look at. Things like this. Here's 94, lower levels. There's really nothing showing. Somewhere around here is where the NHC is putting the dot. So, you know, they know it's there. It's just not, you know, there's a little bump here with the 500 millibar levels. There's a lot of wind shear, you know. So 94 does not have a lot of convection or spin to it. But it is going to go to the BOC here. And there are a couple models that say with lower Texas can get some rain. But this is the general steering motion of 94. But when we go over here and look at 95, from day one, this thing has had a very lighter wind environment. And there you go. This is 850 millibars. So there, I mean, it's decent. You know, there's your islands. It's southwest. But it's always had decent spin and a very light environment across this ITCZ line, intertropics convergence zone. There's really that spot behind it isn't really showing much. So it's very, you know, it's got that, you know, this little spin to it. And that's, you know, these Cape Verde seeds, I heard a lot of longtime Mets talk about these Cape Verde seeds, you know, when they come off of Africa and they have this little spin. Sometimes they're ones we got to watch for some surprise development because they already have the spinach. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Not very organized, but it's red 70%. And the NHC saying we could see a storm this weekend. And again, Barbados is going to see it Sunday. So you definitely need to be paying attention to that. I'll zoom in on that here in a little bit. Where did the islands go? They just disappeared. Oh no, we should do a TikTok. Oh, there they are. They just came back. one of those 90-foot waves that everybody was hyping. Well, anyway, Barbados unfortunately looks to be in the path of this thing. So they're the first ones that got their eyes open. Then of course all the islands Sunday, Monday. Here's old school vorticity map, and you can see basically our spot here looking pretty healthy on the vorticity maps, and our spot here is not. So let's see. Here's the latest spaghetti models of tropical tidbits. These just came out. Let's take a look at that. Let's talk about things for a second. First off, individual locations never work for any meteorologist, so there's no way to know anything. Timing, I'm going to go into timing. Bottom line, no one knows past 5 days, 7 days where this thing's going to be, if it's going to be anything. General idea of timing, I think, is important to know for me, especially. We're camping following weekend. If it turned towards where I live, I'll just leave it at that. That would be the following weekend. So I need to know things like that. You got to know timing, and at this point, and a couple other things I'm going to bring up about this system and why it's so different, and why I'm a little skeptical on both ends because of the timing. I'll talk in the time of the year. We'll talk about that. But I'll tell you what I will talk about is this tropicaltidbits.com. Levi, we got these linked to our site. It goes to his site, Spaghetti Models. And it's very surprising. I've never really ever, and a lot of you will vouch for this, I've never really seen models this consistent on initial runs. So that Bermuda High, the high pressure steering mechanism to the north is pretty locked in. That is an extremely consistent thinking of this system. Now, timing, another thing that Shelly said a lot of y'all have questions. Let me just see, Shelly, you know how I did it? I printed them out. Don't think I don't read. So I talked about that we cover not just the U.S. This one is the timing. So when you look at Tropical Tidbits spaghetti models, when they run, so this ran just now, 24, 48, 72, 96. These are hours. So you get an idea. Tomorrow, there's your timestamps. 5 days from now, right there. So that's a general idea of where it could be. That's why Sunday, Monday, this thing's going to be nearing the islands to worry about. So those are your timing marks. They go out 6 days, 144, and then 7 days, 168. So that's your 5 days. If you care about 5 days from today, look for 120, and that kind of gives you an idea. Now remember, the effects of a storm are way in front of a timing mark too. So even though the center of the storm could be here, you might have 6 hours ahead of that storm, you might start feeling feeder bands. Remember, storms that are getting larger, you start to feel the effects way before the center. But it's that's just a rule of thumb of how to read them. But anyway, extreme consistency. The other thing I was really surprised about, now, these intensity models run, and sometimes they're right, a lot of times they're right, a lot of times they're wrong. But I guess the other surprise that I had was so many of them are showing intensity increasing with Invest 95. So we got dust, we got dry air, we got historical, vertical shear, wind shear. But all these models, almost all of them are showing at least a hurricane. Several are showing Cat 2, few are showing Cat 3. Very impressed ever to see a major hurricane, and I'm going to show you a graph here in a second. So a little skeptical, but we've been talking about the hot water, that the water temperatures now are what they normally are in August, September. So we've been talking about these water temperatures all year long, and maybe Mother Nature doesn't care what month it is. If it's got the fuel, it could produce. So we'll see. But there's other factors than just water temperature. There's wind shear, there's dry air. We're in a suppressed phase of the MJO. So, but these are models. You got to show them. That's a possibility. So there's that. Historically now, this is one model or one page on the National Hurricane Center site. So we normally get our first hurricane. This is from 1991 to 2020. This takes some 30-year averages. We normally get our first hurricane August 11th. We normally get our first major hurricane September 1st. Huge outlier here if we were to get a major hurricane. September 1st. It's practically July 1st. So that would be like 2 months ahead of schedule. I had to count. I went to college. I still use my fingers to count. I'm like August, September. Anyway, so that's why this is so rare to see something possibly like this early season. But it's happened before. There's been hurricanes that have passed through this area. Not very many, but it's happened before. And this is not a normal year with water temperature. So, all right, some other stuff I got ponied up here. Let me leave it up here. I'm sure everybody's asking about their zip code. We're going to do a vote how to pronounce Derecho. Bertha. Joe, yeah, we can talk about that. Joe, don't let me forget. I'll show you a cool model map that you can see the water temperature. Well, let's just show it now. Joe asked a great question, one of our Brew Crew members. Water temperature along the path. So if you go down here to, so back to Mike's weather page. So it's funny, Phil was telling me a story. He was talking to somebody at a big corporate meeting yesterday, and they were talking about weather that he helps me. And the guy says, yeah, I follow this guy with a weird hat on TikTok. He didn't even know it was Mike from Mike's weather page. What's up, John Toon, Panama? That's my second home. Good morning, Miss Bobby. So, anyway, I'm the guy with the hat. This is the hat. If you're wondering, I am the guy with the peanut hat. That is weather in a nutshell. So if you were curious about the website, there's a lot of stuff on here. I suggest one day going to ABC, find Wine and Spirits, pick up your favorite stuff, sit here and click every link, and you'll be amazed at what you see. But for hurricane season, everything is usually in this first long column. So there's 4 columns. So the second column, I don't know what you call it, but everything is right here. Invest 95, Invest 94. And then once we get NHC graphics, then they'll get updated with National Hurricane Center graphics. But one cool map that one of our guys, Joe, just asked, 95 storm products right here. Click on this one. And this site is really cool because you control everything you want to do. Now, this is your image resolution. We can go to 8K, which widens out more of the Caribbean. This is where our system is now. He was asked about water temperature along the way. Well, then you can click here somewhere. I just went blah. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. What the hell? Right in front of me. Sea surface temperature. Okay. I thought I had a good day going there for a second. There's your sea surface temperature currently. So it's sitting underneath 28, 29 degrees. Typically, that's pretty darn warm for hurricanes. So then you can look at ocean heat content. So it's starting to tap into some of this warmer, deep water ocean heat content. So this will give you a good idea along the way. And then this same map here will tell you current shear, where it's at. It's kind of got an upper level cyclone above it, which is helping. So it's kind of in a good little window with upper level wind shear right now. You got convergence, divergence, you got dry air. So a lot of cool stuff. There's that dry air we talk so much about. Now, a lot of the waves this year have been riding lower because of the stronger Bermuda high. We talked a lot about these systems go a little bit lower. They kind of miss some of that dust. Remember, now last year our systems were coming off a little more to the north, and they were running into this dust, and a lot of them would fizzle. But these last few waves have been riding lower, so not as affected that we normally see because these systems are kind of riding below. But anyway, it's a cool map. I'm glad you asked that, Joe. You can really do a lot. There's visible satellite. I mean, it's a really cool site. And again, that was right here, 95 storm products. Now, next to that, I have this. And then I'm going to show you another one down here since we're talking down here. So there's 4 links right now that I'm going to show you. The other one we got is this guy right here, wind analysis. This is a satellite-derived page that shows you the current thinking of the winds. I didn't update the page yet, but there it goes, 95S. And it just pretty much shows you what the circulation looks like, what the lower level winds look like, and it gets updated quite frequently. So that's a cool one. Another cool one is next to it called guidance, and this is page We use it a lot. I'm trying to find who owns it. I think Tang. I can't remember if that's the last name. But anyway, these are really cool. These are plots, 6Z. So, our OOZ ensemble plot for the GFS is that showing you the mean average, showing you, a lot. There's your European ensembles. They're all starting to run. There's your UK ensembles run. So if you like stuff like this, you can really see there's intensity models, just all kinds of stuff. This one's kind of neat because it goes run to run. So there's the last 2 runs. Shows you if there's any shift in thinking. That's a GFS. That's the Euro. So this is more for the ones that like to click buttons and see stuff. There's your H-Wharf. H-Wharf not a good track, but it's a great intensity. Well, let's hope it's not right. It's showing Cat 3. H-Wharf usually is a pretty good intensity model. So we got the halves models on here. So it's good. There's your ensemble plots. And a lot of it might be confusing to a lot of people, but it's fun. It's fun. Another one that I got linked is this guy on the bottom. This one's really cool. 95 graphics and stuff. This is on Tomer Berg's site. This is the one we shared a lot last year. This takes a super blend of modeling. This brings in the Euro, the GFS, the UK, and CMC ensemble plots, and it kind of draws out an average mean and shows you, the spread in thinking and confidence levels. And obviously, it starts to fan out, over time. Looks like it goes out 7 days, so that would be the end of 7 days from now. But it's cool. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on here we can look at. We can look at just, Canadian. We can look at. So man, that's this is stuff that you just get a cup of coffee and sit in front of the computer all day, right? Crazy. There's all 4 runs. So anyway, so looking at all this stuff, you're seeing the same thing, right? We're seeing something going through the Caribbean. We're seeing a general lift up towards Jamaica. Strength is the big question at this point. Now, I did post this earlier today. Let me show you. Close out some of this stuff. This guy right here, I'm hoping. Nope, one more. This one. Okay, so I posted this one this morning, okay, because, everybody, including me, probably gets wrapped up in the worst case sometimes scenarios, but you also have to keep it real and show, hey, there's also models that are not showing the worst case scenario. So these are your overnight 00Z runs that ran. Any English teachers out there? Runs that ran, is that a real sentence? Can I use that in a spelling bee contents? Use runs in a sentence. Models runs that ran. But listen, none of these are showing under 990 millibar. Why do I say 990? Because typically 990-ish is around a hurricane. So 995 could be, but you get 995, 990s. But Euro 994, GFS 1010. Now the GFS came back strong. Canadian 998. KMA is a good model. It was pretty decent last year, 1000 millibar. Icon was a great model last year. So far hasn't really shown anything. UK is a great model and not shown anything. So there's histories against this thing getting too bad, and so be careful getting caught up in the worst case scenarios. Okay, I mean. Again, the reason I post these ensembles here, this is off weathernerds.org. We link them also, just to show the possibilities. A weaker system might go more south and more west. Stronger systems have a tendency to get pulled more to the north. There are some starting to show Florida and the Gulf and the East Coast. So. The story this year, if you've been listening to me from day one, has been a bigger push, unfortunately, for our Caribbean friends, which we're seeing. That was the talking point number one, and we're already seeing that. We talked about long track storms this year that we normally don't see. We're seeing that, and now we're seeing possibly a push more to the west, and we're kind of seeing that. So early season is the only thing that's tricky. We're only June 27th here. So don't get wrapped up in any of this stuff because, I have a feeling runs are going to be bouncing around. One run strong, one run not. But it's got, they call it the hurricane graveyard this time of year because we have a lot of vertical wind shear across the Caribbean. That's just normal this time of year. So it's just really fascinating to see this possibility. But this black line is the mean of everyone. So there's 31 members of the GFS, 51 members of the Euro. These are the ensembles that make the main run. But what's interesting with these is the tracks are almost the same for the averages. So the GFS stronger systems to the north, weaker to the south. That's typically the case. Weaker systems are influenced more by lower level winds, and they just keep on driving off into the sunset per se. So anyway, there is that. Let's look at some individual model runs here in a second. So then back to the intensity runs, just for our friends in Barbados, which I know we have somebody that's going to chime in. Hello. The H-Wharf is showing, a 957 millibar system on your coming at you this weekend. So this would be Sunday or Monday, actually, later Monday. So I say Sunday because that's when you start feeling your bands. This is 18Z Monday, so this is pretty much Monday morning. But that's strong. And then the halves models are new last year, and they're both showing 980, 990. So a weaker system, but still possible. Very organized system, possibly passing to your south. And then again, here's those intensity models. So, wow, right? There's a lot to take in. So let's slow down a little bit. Invest 94 could bring some rains to Texas. So far, it looks like it's going to end up into Mexico. Not very organized is the main thing right now with this one. A lot of land interaction ahead. A lot of rain coming for the Yucatan, though. So if you're in Belize and Yucatan, you're going to get a lot of rain soon. This is a lot of convection. 95 is the one everybody's starting to really get kind of hyped up about. And it's just, right now, I feel like there's just too much unknowns to get too worked up, even though there are spaghetti models that are starting to point towards me. But like I said, we've had hurricanes in January before, so never say never, ever. In the tropics, this could be a non-normal year with those water temperatures. And let me show you about the water temperatures if you're always curious. So Brian McNulty's got a site I haven't linked here, right here. If you click on that one, why is that guy following me? Not Brian, but the paint thing. All right, so then he's got tropical Atlantic or ocean heat content time series. This is the one thing that's not normal, and this is where we're at in the main development region. Let me go right here. So ocean heat content is the warm water below the surface. That's what fuels hurricanes. As the season progresses, the water gets hotter, deeper. That's why the storms typically September 1st is when we see our first major hurricane, because that's the hottest water of the year. But ocean heat content's being tracked daily. I don't know how they do it. They do it somehow. Satellite, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And we have this region here in this particular model. And the ocean heat content on June 27th is typically where it is September. So this is blue line is actually an 11-year average. This is trickier. How many years is 2013? Everybody get your fingers out. How many years is 2013 to 2023? Right? Let's do it together. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Well, wait a minute. 23. So it's either a 10-year average or 11. I don't know. But the blue line is where it's been the last 10, which is a cool model because we've had a pretty active 10-year run, right? So this is pretty cool to see the averages in only the last 10 years. Now the line that's above it is 2023. That was last year. This is where we're at this year. So, if it has light shear head, which it kind of looks like it kind of does looking at things, it doesn't know that it's June 27th. It thinks that it's September 1st. That's the problem. So that's the one thing that's making me hopefully let everybody know, hey, pay attention. Because of that. I see that possibility. All right, let's slow down a little bit. I'm sure everybody's asking about if it's going to rain on their backyard tomorrow, but hopefully not. Anyway, so what's up, Jason? Correct. Usually Oh, runs is a noun, ran is a verb. Works fine. Cool. I didn't know runs is a noun. Mirtha's our school teacher. Runs that ran. Having the runs, well, no, that's a different story. All right, Tammy Lent, what's up there, Miss Tammy? Okay, anyways, let's see what other things that Shelly said are being asked a lot. So, okay, the hurricane graveyard, talked about that. That is generally this area right here, just typically right here, well, like here. Typically, storms that enter that area get chopped up from the upper level winds. So, that's typically where we see a lot of storms not make it because there's usually a lot of wind shear. The A-Bear box is a good one. All right, so the A-Bear, a lot of people asking about the A-Bear box. So the A-Bear box, I have a link over here if you want to look at stuff. Now we got to find it. I'm sure somebody sees it already. Let's just go top. Where the hell did it go? It's right here somewhere. I know it's right here somewhere. I have a box for everything. There it is right there. All right. So the A-Bear box. A-Bear, not Hebert. I used to say Hebert, and it's actually A-Bear, not Hebert. There's 2 boxes. And this gentleman figured out that major hurricanes passing through these boxes typically ended up in Florida. But they had to be major hurricanes. That's just a theory. There's no scientific, but there are a lot of storms that did that. And that's generally been the case. Not all the time, but this is typically storms down here that are coming up that get turned in here like that. So just people ask about the A-Bear box, and there's a link here. You can read about it more. A lot more about it if you're curious about it. So I think that's it, Shelly. Enough. Well, we'll talk about the windy one last. So anyway, timing again. I showed that timing map. It's very confusing sometimes to look where it could be possibly in 10 days. But 10 days we could be looking at this thing possibly affecting somebody. Continental down to the Yucatan. But I want to show you individual model runs real quick. This is how it all began. We used to do this all the time. These changed so much. So over the years, obviously, I've shifted to more ensembles early in a storm progression. They bounce around a lot. You look for consistency. You look for gut feeling. I started talking about this a long time, several days ago. I did a video about it. So, I don't know. Now I'm rambling on. Yeah. So, hey, by the way, I keep mentioning the Brew Crew. Listen, we got a great little area of supporters that we've had for several years now. If you're curious, it's right here. Subscribe through the website. We have a brand new chat this year called MWP Chat. So, $4.99 a month and up, you can get all kinds of awesome perks and be a part of our MWP Chat, which has all my posts. You get notifications. Watch it live, interact with people, and it's a great place if you want to get everything weather and not have to look for it. But we got the other chat running right now with our Brew Crew. That's why I'm talking to them. There's 100 people in there right now. So, Crystal, great question. Asks a very genuine, honest question. With that Bermuda high, does that mean more storms could possibly be going into the Gulf? So, yes. Talking points this year has been, looking back at history, years of El Nino, we have a lot of storms develop in the open Atlantic and end up not affecting anybody. Years with La Nina, which we're entering, we have a stronger Bermuda high that allows storms to chug along a little more south and a little bit more west. So yes, history shows more chances that we're going to get a low rider system to affect the Caribbean, ultimately, Yucatan, Texas, Upper Gulf, East Coast. So yes, totally. Isaac Taylor, we are cool, buddy. In a great scenario. Listen, when I started doing this, man, I didn't know anything about weather. I'll be there, and I still don't. I'm sure there's somebody laughing right now. You still don't. Had a comment the other day. Why don't you get a degree and then you can not sound like an idiot? Oh, okay. Great advice. So look at 2 years. Look at 2020. Let me pull up 2020, then I'm going to pull up 2023. Okay, so let me click on this, and then we'll go over here, click on this. All right, so 2 years. Look at this. All right. I'm sorry I'm clapping. Hey, who all remembers the noisy mouse? It used to drive me. I used to watch back for some reason, YouTube would pick up the click. And it was like, so now I got to click this mouse. I love it. But now I'm clapping. So I'm offsetting. All right, so 2023 last year. Did you know 2023 was the fourth largest season on record ever? The fourth largest last year. And look at this. There was really only one. We had Harold in Texas. We had this little Ophelia thingy. And then we had, of course, Idalia. That was very bad. Idalia formed exactly the way Michael did. We had a lot of wind shear because of El Nino. We had very little activity because of El Nino. And look at all this middle Atlantic activity. Harmless, right? Harmless. All this stuff happened in the middle Atlantic. Storms were coming off a little higher. They were curving. There wasn't a steering mechanism like the Bermuda High. Fast forward to 2020. Watch this. You will not believe this difference. Look at that. Let me just do this. 2023, 2020. The reason I bring up 2020, it was a La Nina year, and a lot of people are referring to 2020 as this year. Look at all this West Gulf, and look at this Caribbean area. Everything now is happening because there's no wind shear. We're kind of early. We're transitioning right now into La Nina, so we're not at the peak part yet. This is what worries me, honestly. I hate using words like worry, but honestly, later season system, when we're full gear in La Nina, the wind shear is going to be the lightest ever, and we're going to be dealing with warmer waters and all that stuff. So, the fact this is possibly happening now is like, oh my God, what could we be looking at later in the season? Let's look at 2005 real quick. I haven't looked at it in a while. Obviously, that was a bad year too. There are a lot of comparisons this year to that year. Whoa, we really got zoomed in there. And you can kind of see the same thing. A lot of activity here. A lot of activity here. A lot of activity here. So, 2020, 2005, 2023. So, that's kind of what makes sense, right? We'll see if history repeats itself. So, anyway, yeah, Isaac, we're going to see some long track storms. Hey, Greg, what's up, buddy? All right, so here's the latest. All right, GFS, tropicaltidbits.com. We'll just show you how they've been bouncing around. So the GFS is back to a 982 system. That's kind of like the H-Wharf in the Haas models. This would be Monday morning. Unfortunately, right there close to Bermuda. And it's strengthening it. Now, we got this one coming behind it. I just look at it, but at this point, let's not look at it. But it is that clump of clouds that's coming off Africa now. But this is what we're focusing on. This would be Tuesday morning. Now, here's the thing. If it turns a little bit, Puerto Rico, right? This is the timing. This is where we're looking at. A little farther south, we got folks watching down in the islands, ABC Islands. Tuesday morning, next week. This will start to turn up a little bit more. Now, again, don't pay attention to that one. I don't understand what's going on there. Now, here's Wednesday morning. Getting close to Hispaniola, Wednesday morning. Weakening a little bit. There's Jamaica. This would be Wednesday night, Thursday morning for Jamaica. And it kind of keeps it weak now, which I would question that. But, heads it up towards Texas. This would be Sunday, July 7th. I guess it's assuming a lot of land interaction, but it's interesting to track, right? It's going to change. Let's show you what the last GFS did. That's why you can go. There's the last GFS. Pretty similar, actually. This one's a little more farther south, almost down into Mexico. That was the last 2 runs of the GFS. Let's look at the 18Z last night. And that's the one I posted, I think, this morning. But, it's a little weaker down in the Yucatan. That would be next Friday. And that one really goes west. So it's trending north. We got a cold front coming down Monday. That's going to be a little bit of player. Then let's look at the latest Euro. Euro only goes out 90 hours, but it's showing 1,002 millibar on Sunday here. Last night's 00Z showed a little weaker system, which is good news, right? Euro is usually pretty good. Euro doesn't do very well with intensity. 999, 998, and it goes south. So that's a big turn south. Weaker goes south. So that's, Euro. Yesterday's 12Z run, different scenario there. We got a really strong hurricane nearing the Yucatan. This is the only difference of 12 hours. That's why models flip-flop. And so you got to put them all in your head, like what the general thinking is, But this is strong. I mean, unfortunately, that's really strong. Heading towards the Yucatan next Friday. And then it stops. Where does it go after that? Well, you look at things like, okay, there's a high, there's a little break coming. Well, if this scenario played out, this is upper level low, nothing to worry about. But if this scenario played out, likely path would have a little opening and a little lift. So, we look at the long range high pressure here, and it looks like we got a little dip in the jet, so that would allow a little more turn and tug to the north. That's just one model. Let's take a look at your latest AI model, which is new this year. And it's showing a weak system. Doing nothing. It's actually showing this little Invest 94 curving up into Mexico there this Sunday, Monday. But it's keeping it weak. Canadian model showing this weak little system here going to Mexico this weekend. And then, 993. It's kind of showing that little system coming in from behind too. 997 for Jamaica on Wednesday night, Thursday. And it stops. It hits the Yucatan. So you can just see this general thinking. I guess the big question is upper level winds after 10 days and what's really going to happen. Now, here's a strong high building on the Canadian, but here's the difference. Like long range maps are very hard on steering currents when we have fronts still coming into play. Here's the Canadian, and then here's the Euro. Completely different. Let me go back to 00Z. There's a 00Z. So there's a totally different upper level wind pattern steering map on the Euro versus the Canadian. So still a lot of uncertainty. But I guess what's really curious in my book is looking at these intensity models. And some of the Euros are quite actually well, let's look at it this way first, and then we'll go the other way I was going to think about it. Let's just kind of post here, right here. Okay, so some of these models are, 7 days out right here. Anything red is pretty strong little hurricane. And there is model consistency that we have a lot of them showing a stronger hurricane. We have a lot going down in the Yucatan. We have a lot spreading out. This is 9 days from now. This is July 5th. And remember, these are endpoints of all these runs. So these were all the models think the storm could be July the 5th. So, for example, if we were to get one in South Florida, it would be here July 4th. And then we go out, 11 days, obviously. So it's just, you want to say the majority of them are on the southern in, but there's a lot of them that aren't. So just not enough confidence yet. Yesterday's GFS was not showing very many of them being strong, even though the operational run was. I have a feeling that's probably changed. See, now we're starting to get a few strong ones. See, we had very few blue yesterday. Blue's 980 to 990 pressure. That could be a hurricane up to tropical storm. But the latest Euro here, or GFS, this would be July 4th morning. This would be July 5th. So, we're starting to see a few red. Longer over the Gulf, more time it has to develop. There's one off the coast of Florida saying hi to Shelly. So, just at this point, I guess at this point, you're not trying to scare anybody. You're just say, hey, there's models. There's stuff to watch, and every update we watch. That's all. That's no different what I've ever done. The biggest thing, I guess the biggest player in any of this is this cold front coming down. And the cold front's coming down Monday. And you can see it here very well. Why does this map do this? Sometimes it's terrible. Where's our barbs at? I thought if I went to 00Z it would work. Oh. So this model doesn't always work. Damn it. We're not seeing our front lines. Crap. Yeah, it's a glitch. It's a really cool surface chart. Well, we can go to the old school one right here. So basically, oh gosh, what day are we looking at? Here's Monday. So we do have a front coming down. Here's Sunday, there's your front, there's Monday, and then Tuesday. So depending how strong that front is, if it lingers, how fast the Bermuda High builds back in is going to determine how far west this thing goes. A couple things I found interesting too. We always talk about the MJO, right? So the MJO is a pulse of energy that floats through the air, and when we're in green, it enhances thunderstorm activity. When it's in orange, it's supposed to suppress that thunderstorm activity, but man, it ain't happening right now. I mean, you could argue right now, currently, maybe we are still in a little enhanced phase, but typically what we're seeing here, when you look at Invest 94, usually this type of bubbling you wouldn't see. And there's been a lot of convection down there. This is Yucatan. Not a lot of spin with this, but that's just convection. It's really been persistent down there. So that's all sliding to the west-northwest. So you would say in the past, we shouldn't see anything really try to get going. The dust map, which we love to look at. This is your dry air and dust map here. Somewhere. That isn't the one, Mike. Where the hell is it? Oh, now I'm confused on my own website. This is twice now it's happened to me today. Oh, we'll see. We got shear. Where the hell did it go, man? Right here. It's on this side. Duh. I've only clicked on it for 10 years. Animated style dust map. All right, so you click on that. And this is kind of where we're at. We're playing to the Price Right. Look at that. Price Right. Do-de-do-de-do-de-do-de-do. I did it first time. All right. But there's where we're at. All right. So the Invest 94 here made it through all this dust, and now it's escaped it. So we're seeing a really bunch of bubbling now. 94 never really had any spin to it. It takes time to develop a low pressure and start getting things spinning. There's a lot of wind shear down here. There's 95, and it's riding a low rider below all this dust. But once it clears out, maybe and heads over here, all this heavy stuff might be disappearing. And I'm going to show an animated map here that showed it might be riding ahead of a next big plume that's coming in behind it. So this is what it looks like animated, though. You just kind of show you. It's hard to focus on this little guy, but you can kind of see how it was riding the front end of this dust line. And then here's our new one. it kind of came. It's kind of hard to see it, but there it is right there. It's coming and boom right there. So animated dust map. Let's take a look at that. Farther west you go, the less you get. And let's see. Let's go to Nassau dust map here. All right. Let's see. We got a latest 27. Yes, we do. All right. So I mean, this is what happens. This is, you know, showing you wrapping around. Usually when you have dust to the north of a system, as a storm starts to develop, it starts to pull in as things start to rotate, and it'll start to pull in, you know, rotate, and it starts to pull in that stuff from the north around, and this is dust maps kind of showing you that. So yeah, it's got that big plume. This is that spot behind it that the some of the models are showing, trying to develop. Sometimes the one in the front clears out the one for the second, and that this case would probably be 94 for 95. The one behind's not showing up on anything official yet. It is shown on the GFS and the Canadian though. So I don't know. That's where we're at. Officially, this is what we got. A lot of speculation, but officially, you know, all your ensembles and stuff that you want to look at are right here. Your spaghetti models, your intensity models. The H-Warf is going up to Cat 4 now. Let's hope it's wrong, but man, the H-Warf usually is a pretty darn good model for intensity. Latest spaghetti models are out, going up to 7 days. We can look at these here real quick. These are going out 7 days, and you can see that they are pretty good agreement. 168 hours from right now. This is where our system's going to be. And 7 days from now, if we don't have a front coming down, then it should keep going west, northwest, or northwest. It's all about the steering currents. 7 days from now. 7 days from now, there is a little high pressure developing here on the 3rd. A couple models showing. Then it got a little front coming down after it. So hard to try to predict steering currents. Lowering pressures, but still yeah, so yeah. Anyway, all right. So anybody saying I should be concerned? Only if you live in the Caribbean at this point, especially down there in Barbados. Everybody else is just watching, like I am. Very surprised at the consistency of the models. Very surprised that some of these intensity models are showing Cat 1 plus, being what time of the year it is. Not surprised looking back at the water temperatures and where we're at normally. So maybe that isn't such a shocker as that we could possibly see this. You know, wind shear, that time frame. You know, I guess historically we're a little less expected in the Caribbean by this time next week. Looking at anomalies for wind shear. I mean, those are the only things we really look at as wind shear anomalies, really. You know, it's going to be less next week than normal. Upper jet stream not looking very windy. I was thinking of the right word. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's not as bad a wind shear than we normally see this time of year. So, you know, like I said, the H-Warf model is a really good intensity model. Here's the parent version of it, larger, but it's trying. Everybody's trying to develop that little guy behind it, man. I guess we can't stop looking at it, man. We might just get a dang circle out of that thing. I mean, so the H-War is really going all in here. 952 millibar. Rapid intensification. The Haas model here, a little less aggressive, maybe 995, 988. So it's developing that. Man, it's developing that system behind too. Everybody's okay. I take it back. Look at the guy behind. What is going on here? That little system that's coming off from behind. Models love it. This is right. Sorry. Okay, let's look at the guy behind. Because you know what? There's a lot of models showing it now, and I guess it's silly to ignore it. I mean, but let's focus on the first one. But look at that. So the GFS is showing it. Canadian's showing a little bump right there. See that? Euro, a little bump of low pressure. Kind of fizzles it out. And then looking at these high resolution models, Invest 95 parent. Let's go to the parent. It's starting to show a little guy coming in from behind. See that? Low rider. I bet you. I would almost bet money that we're going to see a yellow circle pop up at 2 o'clock. It would probably be more of a non-X because it's not really got a center yet, but that'll get the internet talking. Paving the way. That's right, Tyler James. That happens. Okay, so hey, listen, we will be live for sure Monday and Tuesday. Look for a lot of special videos. I always do these little reels and 90-second ones, so you'll be getting a lot of those. I'm going to be on the road. If things really change, I mean, I do have a mobile setup, so you know we're going to try to do one Sunday after Shelly's dinner and before we go to Chili's. And if we have to cancel Margaritaville, we will cancel Margaritaville. I will never mention camping again, ever. I am not canceling Mark. Shelly, I can tell you this right now. If we get these things trending north, then yeah, I cannot enjoy myself. We'll be live and this, you know. Plus, I gotta get the Storm Chaser gassed up. I cannot be storm chasing in the RV. It might not do very well, and the gas. I would never find a gas station that had enough gas to fill it up in between stops. Sue, you're right. We'd have to have a big old. We'd have to have the Reed Timmer stakes on that thing. Julie got preseason tickets for Twister, right, Julie? Hey, make sure it's Phil and did you get 3 more? Anyway, what date is it?
Can I get what?
What's the date on it again?
Thursday the 17th.
Thursday, July 17th is Twisters. Have not been to the movies since Ghostbusters. We can go to Gallenberg, yeah, Joe. No, but I got to be in my office here. Listen. The comment last night's the truth. The first thing I do when I roll out of bed and grab my phone is looked at spaghettimodels.com and overnight models updated, and I'm like, whoa. So anyway, Shelly, Julie says hi. Or hi, Julie says hi. Shelly, Julie, hi, whatever. Hi.
Hi.
Amy, I got the hat on. This is for all the TikTokers. You're like, oh, you're that guy. This is weather in a nutshell. Anyway. All right, we've been an hour. Greg Montgomery, what's up, buddy? We do a hello to all our great supporters. Let's do Greg. I don't think we did Greg this week yet. Furman Power Equipment. I think everybody in our chat has one by now. 30% off. You click that link and you get 30% off. Free shipping. Unbelievable. Great company. We love all their employees. We do a lot of stuff together. We do a lot of stuff together. We'll be doing a lot this season with their fast team, responding to storms. They have a couple trucks and trailers set up to be there to help folks right after a storm. So, yeah, they're a great company. 30% off. You can get them at Lowe's and Costco or buy it online. Use your special 30% code, which is amazing. Even their refurbished deals are too good to be true. Let me tell you. These are like, you can't even, I mean, come on. $300 for an inverter. But now's the time to think about it. You never know. And the way we would look at the weather lately, we're seeing power outages all the time. Michigan the other day, 200,000 people out of the blue. Texas a couple weeks ago, out of the blue. But anyway, great company. We love them and what they've done for us over the years. So we really appreciate them and their support. So, all right. We will be live. Remember, all this stuff you can watch. And the last thing that Shelly asked me to talk about is Windy. So many people screenshot the Windy. It's a great app. It's awesome. I use it all the time right here, Windy. We can go fast forward in time. We can go 10 days out. We can look at things. We can look at, what's cooking. Here's 10 days out. There's possibly, a sloppy system, hopefully, right? But the Windy app is the Euro, okay? It's just a way to look at models. It's like Tropical Tidbits. The Windy is not a model. It's just a different way to look at a model. So the Windy defaults to the Euro. So when you think the Windy's right, it's the Euro. Now you can change it to the GFS. You can change it to the icon. You can change it to HRRR. NAM, but it's not its own model. It's the Euro, unless you change it. So it is right a lot because so is the Euro, which is not the Euro. It's EC. I can't ever remember the letters. That's why I say the Euro. It's ECMWF. Euro is a lot easier to say than that. The European model. All right. Oh, yeah, big show. I was thinking of you. I know you chime in from Barbados all the time. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about it for y'all. Definitely got some bad weather coming this Sunday, Monday. So, got to pay attention close. This thing's got some spin to it already. It's had circulation for a while. It does appear that it's trying to get its act together a little bit. You're starting to see some little ventilation going on, consistent convection. Let's do the wider satellite imagery here. Look at some visible satellite imagery. I can't believe that one behind it's possibly going to be talked about next. But you can kind of see it's trying to get that look. But it is Thursday, so you will hopefully have time on your side down there and it won't be anything too strong. But this really puts it in perspective what we're looking at here, and you can start to see some of that circulation really happening. And some lightning. But it's starting to get that look. Definitely getting that look. I mean, the wind maps show it clear. There's definitely a decent, favorable environment around it right now. There's not a lot of wind shear. It's kind of in a little pocket here. Got an anti-cyclone, they call it overhead, kind of like a high. So a lot of that wind shear not affecting it right now. And you can see low level spin definitely starting to show up very well. Somewhere around here. It takes time, but you know, they're giving it 70% in 7 days. All right. Weather satellite. Good question, Jacob. I do not know. The goes you, right? Somebody might know. What's up, James? We're going softball, buddy. Yeah, we are. We're heading to Valdosta. David, I'm not sure where Ian. I know you asked that a second ago. Let's take a look at the track of Ian. I know Ian really got going strong off the Yucatan. Yeah, you're right. There's where Ian started right here. A little more later in the season, so typically I don't think that. But you're right. That's where Ian started right there. And we had a lot of fronts that year with Ian. I remember we talked about that a lot, but that was the year we saw a lot of cold fronts. Thus, we knew anything coming would get pulled and turned because of the fronts that year. They were uncommon that year, and we kept getting them. Let's see if there's any images on the hurricane graveyard. That's a good one. I don't know if I can enlarge it or not. Let's see if I can open image in a new tab. There's a good image. So this is where they call it the hurricane graveyard. Low level jet increases, a lot of winds. That's kind of what's happening to Invest 94 right now. But if you get a high pressure area above it, it kind of rides with it. It makes a temporary bubble for a storm to develop into, you know. I don't know if it's time stamped though. There's a lot of, you can Google it. There's a lot of people that talk about it over the years. Geographic and atmosphere, but there's been plenty of storms formed down there. Let's see. Brandy got a little fridge. I love that. What's up, Brandy? Like you're thinking. Oh, no. We don't want to kick you out with a Honda. You should have just said you had a Furman and we'd love you more. Oh, Stephanie said your daughter in Oklahoma still doesn't have power from Oklahoma. I know that was 2 nights ago, right? That was the storm that caught everybody off guard in Oklahoma 2 nights ago. So, all right. Hey, Brian, what's up, buddy? How's Texas doing, man? Watching this one close, Brian. You never know. There's a few models sneaking this thing up a little bit to the north. But anyway, all right. Well, everybody, watch for my little quickies. I'll do a quickie this afternoon on an update after the models. Usually I wait until the European ensembles run, so about 3, 4 o'clock I'll do a little 90-second update. We'll do an update tomorrow morning. There's no live tomorrow morning, but I'll be posting all day, like always, a lot. So definitely Monday, Tuesday next week, and maybe more if we have to. We'll have to just watch how this thing progresses. And watch for maybe a special something on Sunday when I get home if we have to. I want to keep everybody up to date. So thanks for tuning in there, everybody. Facebook, YouTube, and X. Have a great day, great weekend, and we'll all keep an eye on Invest 95. Maybe barrel if 94 doesn't take it first.